Mauritius will hold the permanent secretariat of the CISNA, Committee of Insurance, Securities and Non-Banking Financial Authorities. The office will operate under the aegis of the Financial Services Commission. This is the beginning of a new future for African regulators, said Tafadzwa Chinamo, chairperson of CISNA. More innovation in the construction industry with LafargeHolcim's new eco-friendly products and the new concept of hardware stores with Binastore. We are going to see the operations chain of the company. And Portugal tempts post-Brexit Brits to encourage UK tourists to continue to visit no matter what happens with Brexit.
Today in Business Connect, we are at Le Mérita Hotel, where the FSC has hosted the 42nd biannual meeting of the Committee of Insurance, Securities and Non-Bank Financial Authorities, also known as CISNA, under the aegis of the SADC. What does the CISNA do? What is its role? And what are the recommendations that are being made? Let's have a look. Mr. Tafadzwa, why is it important to hold the 42nd biannual meeting of the CISNA under the SADC region?
Okay, so CISNA goes back to 1998 when it was formed, and the intention of forming it was to bring together the non-banking regulators within SADC. Why is that important? I think the ultimate goal of SADC is to create one big region. I think our motto is that we want to move forward together. Now, in our space is non-banking financial regulators. So if you think of financial services, and I'm sure in Mauritius you're quite familiar with what I'm talking about, and you take away the banks from that, all the regulators within SADC who regulate that space came to this meeting for the 42nd time. We've got 15 member countries in SADC, and we do it on a rotational basis. Currently, this is how we are working under this body called CISNA, and we take turns to go to our member states and deliberate on things. The things that we talk about here essentially is how do we make our laws, because most regulators, you are a regulator because you have laws. But if we want to make it easy for participants or for investors to play in this space, the laws that they find here in Mauritius must be as similar as possible to the next country in SADC. So the main reason why we exist is that let's align our laws, make them as similar. Once that happens, I think it's a major step towards you becoming an integrated region, one that doesn't confuse people. Things happen in a very clear way, I think, of this. And so that's why we're here in Mauritius. If you don't mind me going on and also saying that because the way that we've been doing it, this is the 42nd biannual meeting, right? Which means that we meet in April and in October, right? But this is the last day. People are going to go home. Now, the next time that we're meeting is in October in South Africa. 6 months' time is a long time. The initiatives that we might have had might have been gone. So at this meeting, Mauritius won the honor of hosting the permanent secretariat of CISNA. So it's a major milestone, and we're essentially saying that we are now grown enough that we want physical presence as well. So tenders went out everywhere, and Mauritius won. And convincingly as well, I think the bid was just outstanding. So we are looking forward that come the 1st of July, I'm hoping that there will be another big ceremony when we launch, open the doors of that office. And we'll finally have people dedicated to bringing the region closer together in the way that I've said it. So yeah, that's why we're here.
So does that mean that setting up a headquarter will make it less hard to harmonize the recommendations that you will want to make within the SADC bloc?
That is our intention. Why do we feel so? Because this is a full-time job. And like I said, we've got, under the regulators that are members of CISNA is 26. So you've got 26 different authorities. Just to give an example, here in Mauritius, you've got the FSC regulating all the non-banking financial institutions. But where I come from in Zimbabwe, I regulate the capital markets. Someone else regulates pensions insurance. So you've got that many regulators. Now, to try and coordinate the activities twice a year at meetings like this, we might have the best intentions, but it's not the easiest thing that you can do. So having dedicated people, to go back to your question, will indeed, in my view, make it easier, and I believe we can move faster to that realization.
Why is it important to hold the 42nd biannual meeting of the CISNA SADC?
This is important for us as regulators within SADC. As you might be aware that CISNA is the substructure of SADC to try and foster and promote the ideals of SADC. And one of the ideals of SADC is regional integration and harmonization. The reason why we as regulators are here, we want to make sure that our financial laws speaks to each other and facilitate doing business easier within the jurisdictions that we have.
What are the advantages of regrouping as a regional bloc under the SADC for CISNA?
I think what's important there is that when you are a group, people tend to listen to you other than when you go as an individual. Like one wise man said, if you want to go far, go with others. If you want to make sure that you want to do things faster, then you go alone. But as we go as a group, as CISNA, then the world can listen to us, they can understand what are our challenges, and they can understand how these challenges can be resolved.
This conference has been going on for 2.5 days and all member states are present. What are the main recommendations that have been made so far?
The recommendation so far that we have put up is that how best can we run the affairs of CISNA, and this culminated into the issue of establishing a permanent secretariat, and this will also make sure that CISNA is visible and can be listened to and becomes relevant to the entire region.
It must be very hard to harmonize financial regulations within member states, right? But are you being able to do it?
That's quite an important question to me, because if you look at the members of SADC, we have Anglophones, Francophones, and so forth. And their laws are different. But what is important is that we have common standards that will make sure that we can be able to eliminate issues of regulatory arbitrages, and that is what drives us, so that we can achieve the ideals of the finance and investment protocol.
Mr. Avish, you're the Chief Executive of FSC Mauritius. Congratulations for the setting up of the CISNA headquarters in Mauritius. So first things first, why is it important to hold the conference in Mauritius now?
Mauritius has always been very proactive, in many fields, and even in the regulatory field, you would see lately we're becoming even more proactive. It's very important for us to engage with our fellow regulators in the region, because at the end of the day, the role that Mauritius is playing as a financial center is becoming more and more focused now on intra-Africa investments and trade. And therefore, it is important for us to have the right ears and the right mechanisms that would allow businesses that are based out of Mauritius and in Mauritius to explore opportunities in Africa. And certainly for that to happen, we need regulatory frameworks that are enablers. So it is in that very same spirit that we have championed basically this 42nd biannual meetings in Mauritius of the CISNA.
I think it's safe to say that Mauritius has become the international financial center of the region. Your views on the headquarters being set up in Mauritius?
Certainly, it again meets what I've just said, Roshan, because this is very important. Having the CISNA Secretariat based here in Mauritius and operating, and being facilitated by the Financial Services Commission gives us that added advantage of having the first ears with all the regulators in the region. And this is very, very important because we are now embarking on a project of creating harmonization of regulatory frameworks between our various jurisdictions and between the various SADC countries. Not only this, we're also going the extra mile, as we normally say it. Recently we've launched the Regional Center of Excellence. That was an initiative that we did jointly with the OECD. So it's the OECD FSC Regional Center of Excellence. That Center of Excellence has 3 primary objectives. First, it is to really deliver training programs for regulators and for law enforcement agencies in the region. The second is to really work on research papers and conduct in-depth researches on topical areas that matter to regulators and law enforcement agencies of financial services. And third, based on the first 2 objectives, to actually come up with best practices and minimum standards that reflect the market realities of our countries. Because the problem that we often have is that we are exposed to international standards that may not necessarily be meeting the requirements of our local markets. So one of the very important functions that the RCE, the Regional Center of Excellence, will be performing in collaboration with the OECD is to actually come up with standards that reflect the market realities of the region. Now, with these 3 objectives being done by the RCE, it somehow meets actually the mandate that the CISNA has to do also. So we see this fitting in beautifully, both of them marrying beautifully, and I think jointly we can work towards a brighter future for regulation and financial services all across CISNA member states.
Bhavesh, of course this will be beneficial for all member states of the SADC, but what are the advantages for Mauritius?
Very simply, number 1, visibility-wise, because it's not every country that has the opportunity to actually welcome and host such important functions. Number 2, it builds the credibility of Mauritius in line with the role that Mauritius is playing as a financial center for Africa. When you tell people that you're the host of all the regulators in the SADC countries, it changes the entire ball game. And third, as I said, basically it gives us the first move advantage and gives us a really good hearing ear to what we want to push forward as being the mechanisms that would further facilitate intra-Africa trade and investment in line with the Africa strategy that the government has already spelled out for Mauritius.
The Costa Rican government launched a decarbonization plan in February to rid the country of fossil fuels by 2050. The plan, launched by President Carlos Alvarado, proposes a transformation of the economy based on the electricity matrix based on renewable sources. The aim is to have 70% of public transport powered by electricity in 2035 and the whole fleet by 2050. Further elements include modernizing waste management and a green tax reform to replace the loss of fuel tax revenues. Portugal has revealed measures to help UK tourists visit the country in the case of a no-deal Brexit. The plans include making Britons exempt from visas. There will also be dedicated passport control areas and queues for British tourists. Brits will be able to use the Portuguese National Health Service. The government has stated nothing will change during the Brexit transition period, which runs to December 2020. In the no-deal scenario, the European Commission has advised that UK airlines will still continue to operate flights between the UK and the EU.
Lafarge Mauritius Cement Limited is equipped with 60 years of experience. This company is the leader in its cement and concrete activities. In this edition of Business Connect, we are going to see how this company has been able to be the main importer and distributor on the local market. Good evening, Mr. Urs Straub. You're the MD of Lafarge Mauritius and the CEO of Lafarge Holcim Indian Ocean Cluster. So tell us a little bit more about Lafarge Mauritius. How did it build up its reputation?
Hello, Rashid. Pleasure to be with you. Well, Lafarge Mauritius has been in the country since over 60 years now. It was established in 1959. And since then, we have been growing along with the country as it has been developed over time. So we have been able to deliver not only products and services, but also solutions to the country. We have been able to contribute to emblematic buildings, to emblematic projects of Mauritius. For the probably older generation, the State Bank of Mauritius was built with our cement. More recently, there are more newer projects which have been built, more emblematic, probably also the Bagatelle Mall, which is just down the road, has been built with our cement. Other Supreme Court was also done with our products. And the aquarium in Port-Louis, for example, also is a very good example of where we have been able to contribute to the growth of Mauritius. In 2015 was also a very interesting year because it was the year when the Lafarge company and Holcim company, the two leaders in the cement industry, merged. So this was a point of change as well. We became part of a much bigger family. At the point of merger, we were present in about 90 countries and over 100,000 employees. But more than that, I think it was a unique opportunity for Mauritius to become part of this worldwide network and to have access to know-how and to expertise in different areas. No? A very good example is the Research and Development Center that the group has in Lyon, where you have a group of experts in concrete, in cement, and providing solutions. So we can just take the phone and we can basically tap into this know-how. If we don't have it here, bring these people down here and provide solutions to the Mauritian market. More recently, we invested in 2016 also in a state-of-the-art ship unloader, which help us to offload the cement that we bring in big vessels into the terminal. So it's a 190 million investment, which we have commissioned back in 2016, and is certainly also contributing to a more efficient way to offload the cement.
Kevin Kisto, you're the Cement Operations Manager of Lafarge Mauritius Cement Limited. Explain to us, how does the operation works at the terminal?
So at the terminal, we have a storage capacity of 35,000 tons of cement in vertical silos. We have 9 silos in total, and we have 3 plants which are interconnected to each other. So the cement comes in vessels of 45,000 tons, and we unload about 30,000 tons every 20 to 25 days. So this cement is unloaded by our ship unloader, which is state-of-the-art equipment, which Lafarge invested in 2015 and cost around 200 million rupees. So this ship unloader is a factory in itself and help us to unload around 7,000 tons of cement per day. Then from the silos, we have 2 ways of sending cement to the clients. It's either in bulk, via bulk trucks, or in bags to our hardware stores and small clients. So all our products go via the weighbridge, which is certified by the legal metrology to be able to ensure that the weight that is delivered corresponds to the markings on the bags or in the lorries. So we also have a state-of-the-art blender, which helps us blend any type of cement as per demand of our clients. Raw materials are sourced locally and internationally, depending on what cement we need to supply to our clients.
What logistics are involved from the port to hardware stores?
So in terms of logistics, so the cement is unloaded via the ship unloader to our silos. From the silos, it goes into one of our 3 plants and filled into bags. From the bags, it goes to the palletizer, where the cement pallets are palletized and plastic wrapped so that we don't get any contact with the water. From there it has delivered from the terminal or via our depots. Lafarge has invested in 2 depots, one in Bonaire and one in Valentina, to decentralize our operations and to be closer to our clients.
How does Lafarge Mauritius Cement Limited preserve its cement?
So this is a very interesting question. We are the only one having vertical silos. So from the ship to the silos, the cement doesn't have any contact with air or atmosphere or the atmospheric conditions. So the cement is preserved. You don't no contact with water or atmospheric air. And from those silos, it goes directly into bags. From bags to the palletizer, and it's plastic wrapped. So we preserve the quality. Furthermore, it's a just-in-time delivery. So we don't produce a cement for a month. So it's just-in-time, and it's a first-in, first-out basis. This is to ensure that we deliver quality cement to our clients.
We have also invested now into developing a retail network. Yeah? It's based on a global franchise concept that we have. It's called Bina Store. Maybe you have seen it in the recent news over the last month. And it's basically a network of hardware store, small and medium-sized hardware stores, by which we support them by giving them training, access to software to manage their inventory, their orders, their sales in a more efficient way. So it's the customer experience which is enhanced, and also the way they manage their business becomes also much more efficient and professional. This Bina Store is also part of the global Bina Store franchise concept that we have in Lafarge Holcim. We have implemented it today already in 12 countries, and we have over 800 Bina stores in Africa, Middle East. So it's really a worldwide franchise concept like the McDonald's in the construction sector.
How did Lafarge Mauritius contribute to this crucial sector in the Mauritian economy, that is the construction sector?
Well, the merger contributed by giving us access certainly to a much wider network of experts, as I mentioned. We have access to better solutions. We have special concretes that we have brought into the Mauritian market. We have also solutions like decorative concretes, which are also unique to our company, which we have brought into Mauritius. And most recently, we are working in a special concrete, a special structure made of concrete to be able to support the development of the replanting of corals. So this is very specific for Mauritius, and this is very unique. Now, it's a development that has been done in Lyon, in France, and we are developing with the authorities the project to bring it also to Mauritius. And most also one item that we will bring also now to Mauritius coming April is the launch of a special bag. It's a paper bag which is self-dissolving. So this paper bag you will be able to take and put it into the concrete mixer on the job site, and it will be basically dissolved as part of the mixing process in the concrete. So what happens with this process? So you avoid the waste. You have less dusty environment for the worker as well, and better ergonomics at the end of the day. You don't need to be on the ground mixing. So you can take the bag, put it inside, and it will be the fibers of the paper will become part of the concrete that you have. So this is a unique solution that was developed with the supplier and Lafarge Holcim, and we are bringing it, and this is really a very innovative product that we will have for our Lacasse product.
How will you continue to sustain the growth of Lafarge Mauritius in its continuity?
Well, we have already mentioned embarked in it's a long-term vision what we have for Mauritius. We are 60 years here, and I hope that we are here for another 100 or more years. So we are a local company as such. We don't consider ourselves to be an international group. We are part of an international group, but we are a Mauritian company. We have invested in the relationships with our customers, with our clients, with our market. So we will continue to invest in innovation. Yeah, innovation will be always our main driver, to provide better solutions, better products into the market. We will also continue to work in being a better employer. So we also have worked in different dimensions to be an employer of choice. We believe that we will have always a very tight link with the Mauritian economy and with the Mauritian growth.
Business Connect, that's it for this edition. You can find our program on our website. Also follow us on our Facebook page. I'll see you next week at the same time on the same channel. Till then, it's a goodbye.